So let's get right into it. Let's jump into racket number 1. Inman article. Bernice Ross did a really good job breaking this down. Is independent contractor status for real estate agents coming to an end? That's a huge question in this industry. It's been talked about for years, quite honestly, but back in the news because if the PRO Act, PRO Act is passed, it would make the ABC test for independent contractor status the law of the land and would classify most real estate professionals and almost all other gig workers as employees. So let's understand the ABC test before we jump into Bernice's Inman article, which of course we'll link below. All right, so number 1, or A, the worker is free from the control and direction of the hiring entity in connection with the performance of the work. Would you say on A, on the ABC test, that
Are you finding this in the
that?
article? Are we reading the same article?
No, this is outside of the article.
Oh, because it's in the article. They have an ABC in the article.
Oh, they have it in the article?
They do
I'm
have
reading
the
it from
article.
some. I looked it up because California Supreme Court is now holding the ABC test for independent contractors. That applies retroactively. So that's something to watch with what's happening in California. And
Yeah.
I'm reading specifically based
No,
off
I love
of,
it. I just want to make sure
off
that
of
they
their
know that they can
definitions.
read it in the article too.
Okay, you can also
Yeah.
read it in the article. I'm reading it on a law review publication. So where is it in the article?
Right in the middle, under provisions of the PRO Act that eliminate IC
Okay,
status.
so let's read theirs. The individual is free from control and direction in connection with the performance of the service, both under the contract for the performance of service and in fact.
Still just so many words.
Then it goes to B. So
Yep.
do you feel like you are free from control and direction in the, in connection with the performance
Oh, performance.
of the service? Of the performance.
It's such
We're a little
har-
different because we're a team. We have standards. Here.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, but our brokerage has standards though too. I mean, they give you a
True.
book. They want you to. Again, if you've actually ever read it, they want you to dress a certain way when you're in the office as well. So again,
I'd like you to. Those are suggestions.
It's suggestions, absolutely. I think that we are free, but in all honesty, I mean, being a realtor. Like you have certain standards that you need to follow regardless of what brokerage you're under as well. So it's almost like as the occupation, we have certain things that we need to follow. So
Let's be clear. You want to remain an independent contractor, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
As do I.
Yes, 100%.
B is the one that in the ABC test that this article and many others say would trip up the real estate industry. The service is performed outside the usual course of business of the employer. The service is performed outside the usual course of business of the employer. Well, obviously, if it's a real estate brokerage, their usual course of business is transactions on real estate, helping people buy and sell real estate. And that's exactly what the salesperson would be doing. So that one is the one that they're saying would really trip up the real estate agent. C, the individual is customarily engaged, or ABC, number 3 or C, engaged in an independently established trade, occupation, profession, or business of the same nature as that involved in the service performed. That one's a little gray there too.
Super
all
gray.
Right? So this has been proposed, and let's just be clear here. And they get into this here. I think Michael Lissick, a managing broker for the Virtual Realty Group in Oregon and Washington, he's been involved in a number of labor claims and litigation regarding violations of existing independent contractor laws in multiple states. I don't know why he's been involved in so many lawsuits. But anyways, he believes the odds the bill would pass the Senate are about 60-40, which is interesting because it would take actually 60 senators. So that the Democrats who proposed this bill obviously we have a split Senate 50-50. They would have their 50 votes, you would presume, and then they would need 10 Republican senators to ride along and override any filibuster of the bill. Now, and I would agree with Michael Lissick, we're not taking any sides here politically, but I would agree with him that the Senate and our, the current state of our country and the things that are on the list for the Senate to decide on this year, we have much bigger fish to fry than the A/B test. And he says it doesn't even register on the Senate's priority list. I would agree with that. Like, why the heck are they going to tackle this when we have so many other issues going on? Now, he mentioned something that has been very near and dear to, Republican senators, that Section 230, that, being able to limit what big tech companies can do. They're very much protected under Section 230. And he says, hey, if the, Democrats were willing to get rid of Section 230 to protect big tech, then maybe the Republicans would give up, this or something else, right? I would say that none of this is going to happen. If this does get passed, it wouldn't even take place until 2023. I don't believe, as the bill exists today, and this is kind of the feeling from the article, that this has any shot of passing as proposed. And it says, as proposed, the PRO Act remains unlikely to win Senate approval this year, but it is something that they have proposed, and they're talking about it. So if you're a broker, a team leader, a real estate agent, somebody getting into real estate, I've been saying right now is the best time to get into real estate. This is one of the best industries to get into. And now all of a sudden, if you're going to be an employee, like all that could go out the window, because you now, you may not be able to make the kind of money you can make in this industry and have the control over how you make it. So 87% of realtors are independent contractors. Only 5% are employees. You know who this benefits if this were to happen? And I don't think it'll happen, but if it does happen, Nicole, who this benefits?
The ones that just want to look busy?
No. That's a good point. But no. Do you know who this really benefits?
Go for it.
This benefits big companies. Zillow, Redfin, Open Door. Who can shift very quickly into an employee model? Those companies, not the brokerages. Certainly not the brokerages that rely on desk fees or the brokerages that have a low margin split and, whatever.
Potentially.
The models that exist today, oh, for sure. This completely, listen, these types of bills, which is why, Section 230 is talked about so much, big tech. These types of bills only help the big guy. These do not help the little single agent who wants to stay an independent contractor. And if you took a poll of real estate agents,
100%.
We all want to stay independent.
I agree. I 100% agree with that. 100%. Yes.
This is completely like, when you see those bills that help Walmart, stay in business, like when you talk about, and this is kind of going down a path I don't really want to go down, but you talk about minimum wage. Oh, minimum wage should be $15.
Well, it does. And again,
it helps Walmart. It doesn't help the little mom and pop shop around the corner. They get put out of business.
It does reference that in the article. There are, I think, what did they give us? They give us 11, 10, what's ahead, 10 things that may change. 10 changes to expect if it becomes law. So I know we didn't really want to harp on those, but definitely worth reading to sort of.
And they actually do. You're right. I didn't. They do talk about the $15 minimum wage.
They talk about the minimum wage. They talk about what the average agent is making. Again,
you have far less agents in the industry, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, right?
Right. I mean, but again, I mean, then it's interesting though, because then I'm certain that it'll all trickle down. I mean, commissions now, like what are those going to look like? And
according to NAR in 2019, the median income for realtors was $49,700. Consequently, at least half of the current realtor population wouldn't make the cut for full-time employment. So you have far less agents. You will have, no doubt about it, when people are not incentivized to provide an exceptional service to the consumer, you will have consumers that get less than expected service, which means they will, over time, want to pay less on their commission fees because they're probably picking up a portion of the work, which will completely just change the industry. You will have what we've been talking about, Uber guides, right? Not to put down any Uber driver, but to me that's more of a stepping stone than a career that you want to live in for your entire life. That's a stepping stone, right? That's like, hey, I'm gonna come back from college. I'm gonna wait tables in the summer. Hey, right now I'm studying at school. I'm gonna pick up some Uber shifts for a year. It's not something you say I'm gonna be an Uber driver for 30 years, right? So you're gonna get that level of service. Now I've seen some great Uber drivers, especially when they started, when they were required to keep their cars clean. I had some really good Uber drivers. Today, I mean, it's about 10%. Most of these cars are stinky, smelly, dirty, filthy, disgusting. The service for Uber drivers has been basically really bad out of my last, I don't know, 20 or so rides rather. And I haven't taken that many in obviously in 2020, but just looking back on the last couple of years, and I just recently was in an Uber coming back from the airport a month or two ago, which is why, Nicole, I had you
Pick you up. You wanted a clean car?
And your car was nice and clean.
You're lucky.
And the service was phenomenal, and I didn't actually have to pay you, so that was a benefit there as well. But that's what will happen. The level of service provided if you go to this, and Uber drivers right now are independent contractors, so this completely changes
their
game
too. Well. Absolutely, yeah,
no doubt. But talking about the real estate industry, which is what we're talking about, the service provided would go down, and it would be controlled by the few, not by the many, which it is right now. You're talking a Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, Open Door takeover. The ones that shift to employee status quickly, and those are the companies that could do it. Yeah.
A lot to chew on here. A lot to chew on.
Yeah. Again, this wouldn't happen until January 1st, 2023. I do believe, my 2 cents is, this will not happen. This is something that, some of these politicians have thrown out there, maybe as a bargaining chip to get something else. I don't think it's the top of the priority list, which is referenced in this article. And I think they'll focus their attention somewhere else, as they should. They've got a lot bigger problems in this country than trying to screw over a system that is working. And hopefully NAR will stay on top of this and do everything in their power to prevent a catastrophe like this happening. Love your comments. If you are for it, against it, what your thoughts are.
Well, there's tons of comments too, so I encourage everybody to read below. Some people are for it. Some people are saying that the S Corp will exclude them. Some are saying, I don't think that's really true. So still a lot of questions that clearly agents are still having even after reading this. So something very interesting to continue to follow for sure.
Yeah, this has some of these Inman articles will have like 1 or 2 comments.
Yeah.
This has a lot of comments happening.
A lot,
in the
for
Inman
sure.
section.
Well, it's all very interesting things. And again, some people are saying I'm an S Corp, and others are, again, that seems to be the biggest thing where they're thinking that they're going to be excluded. Some people are saying that they would love for the industry to have, more set standards.
Well, here's the thing. Here's who it would benefit. Outside of Zillow and those companies, I'm a big proponent of teams. Team. The middle is getting cut out. The solo agent needs to either hire employees around them, top producing solo agent, or you've got to be a part of a team. If you're in the middle, you're toast. I've been saying that over and over again. And as it's currently proposed, Bernice Ross in the comments, who wrote the article, they agree, she says, that the workaround is to become an LLC or an S Corp, whatever your state requires. This will probably wash out non-productive agents or those who aren't prepared to go through the process of incorporating. Talk about a team takeover. I already think it's here. This would just accelerate that. We would be fine. You and I both hold broker's license. You and I operate as a team, and our team members would be fine. But those solo agents that I've been talking about, those part-timers, they would definitely get washed out for sure. No question about it. So I don't think it's, listen, I think the proposal is a total racket. The fact that this even is being proposed and talked about with everything else going on in our world is a complete government waste of they steal our tax money anyways, and this is just completely wasting it. So this is a waste of time. I don't think,
again, there's
as
more
real
than
estate
just
professionals, I don't think there's anything to worry about.
And there's more than just real estate that this is going to be affecting. So the hope is it's not just going to be agents sort of making a ruckus. This is really going to, like you said, even the Uber driver, they'll be affected as well.
Yeah. Use our tax money for something better. Why don't you start helping people here?